Hey guys, it's Eno, and today I wanted to talk to you about Stop Kony. If you don't know what Stop Kony is, let me just do a really quick overview. This guy named Joseph Kony is in Africa, and he has been gathering and training children to be either sex slaves or soldiers, and he's been doing this for about 26 years. Um, and Invisible Children is a charity that has wanted to stop him by raising awareness to him and has made a film called Stop Kony. Link in the description. It's about a half hour long. Go ahead and watch it. That's not really wanted to talk about. I saw a video by PBAT whose basic message was educate yourself before you do anything. Um, like, where is their money going, etc., etc. I found another video which is highly informative called Charity Watch. It was made last year. That one I highly suggest watching after this, or even stop this and go watch that one and never come back to this one again. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so basically it said educate yourself, so I went and educated myself. There's this PDF that was in PBAT's description, and it's the FYII audited financial statement for Invisible Children. And I looked up some of their stats, and basically a lot of it's going to other things besides charity, the actual service. So let me do a quick rundown. Here is the main page you want to pay attention to, page 6. And there's 3 different categories. Main one is program, which is what we're concerned about. We're concerned about the program that's going on. General and management is for them, is more of people on a personal level, like the higher managers, whereas program is the hundreds or dozens or thousands. I'm not sure how many is in their crew, but more of like the peons who are helping out with the program in general. Right here we have direct services, and that is the money that's going to the kids, that is making posters, making bracelets, making all the propaganda that they do, as well as the jobs for the kids over in Africa. They've only spent 2.8 million on that. Sorry. And it's 2.8 out of, as you can see, 7 million. Some of the other costs that are high were the production and film costs. That was 1.2 million. Travel and transport was 8 million. And it doesn't say salaries or payments or anything like that, so I'm assuming it's in compensation costs. But then I found this, their end of the year statement. Their total expenses was 7 million. But because this funds released from restriction, which was basically funds get restricted by specific donors for specific reasons, and after, I'm sorry, it's really vague, even though I keep saying specific. But basically, the funds have to be held on to for a while, and $5 million worth of funds got released from restriction. The program, general management and development, all ended up at that big total 8.8 million. It said functional allocation of expenses. So this is how much they were allowing to spend themselves. So at the end of the year, they have $5 million. At the end of this last fiscal year for them, which was June 30th, they will have still 5 million unused dollars. 5.5 even. So what PBAT was looking at was that direct services to the actual charity was 2.8 out of 7 million. When in reality, if you add how much money they have at the end, they're spending 2.8 out of $12 million. So they're spending 20% on actually helping the kids. The rest of it is going to traveling or paying themselves or making this film that they made, this half-hour film, and all of it's going everywhere else, and 1/10 is going to the children. Or so I thought. found out at the very end of it what that 5 million is going to. The 5 million is now here in note 7. Unrestricted is they can spend this basically. And the temporary restricted was everything in the temporary restricted came in from other charities that had to be put aside until they could do what that money was meant to do, called Schools for Schools, the Legacy Fund, and grants. And they have to go to specific things. Schools for Schools is for rebuilding schools specifically. Legacy Fund is for scholarships and mentoring the children, and grants were received from private people and are specific by the person who gave it. And right here at this note, it says that they got such a swell and increase from their last year, before the movie was out, I believe. They got such a swell of money that they don't know what necessarily to do with it all. So the organization, Invisible Children, is working with their board of directors to develop a plan to figure out how this last $6.5 million should be spent. So currently it's in reserve. Now, say all of that goes into specifically building schools, making mentor programs, rehabilitation centers for the warriors and the sex slaves, and if all of this $6.5 million goes straight to the people, straight to the kids, that raises their 2.8 million to 9.3 million. So instead of spending only 20% on the kids, it's more like 75%. That I'm okay with. That I'm happy with. But only if they spend the money that way. If they instead put the money towards more buttons and another video and traveling back and forth some more, instead of these programs, then I'm not okay with it. The way that Invisible Children wants to actually stop Kony is by raising awareness to him. The other half of that is that they want to put more armies in Uganda, where he's actually been absent from Uganda for 6 years. There's a link to an article by The Telegraph and the New Jersey paper. It's NJ.com. I personally don't know the reliability of those sources, but that's for you to decide. Some people are more credible than others. I could be talking out of my ass, for example. Anyway, so if you want your money to go to schools, donate to Schools for Schools. If you want to contribute to the scholarship program, donate to Legacy. It's all on the Invisible Children's website. But if you want to give to them, then join Try or give a one-time gift. That's up to you. And then they will allocate the money that you give them in the way that they think it should be allocated, which to me is still iffy, but that's up to you. Because yes, they do have expenses. They have rent. They have offices. They have a bunch of utilities they need to pay for. There's a small amount that goes for entertainment. But people are people. So by all means, stop Kony. He's a terrible person. But use your money in the way that you want it to be used. I hope this has educated some of you. And I'm sorry for taking up your time if it hasn't. Anyway, this is Zeno, and I will see you later.